Forget about me. You're not here for me. You're here for you. I've taught hundreds of guys in their 40s and 50s and 60s to do exactly the same thing that I have. So hopefully you can see I'm going to give you some value here. Yeah, this guy, this is one of the slightly more extreme cases, clinical psychologist, engineering degree prior to that. Yeah, he's dating a bunch of girls. I'm just going to fly through this quickly. He's dating a bunch of girls aged 26 to 36. The guy literally flew from America for this. There's a professional singer, a clinical psychologist, entrepreneur, and a yoga teacher. So I show you the girls, or leave it? Yeah, I'll fly through this quickly. But yeah, a whole bunch of women half his age roughly. So there's 3 promises out tonight. We'll give you supreme social confidence. We'll get you a stack of hot dates, and hopefully get you your beautiful, loving girlfriend fast. That's what we do with guys we actually formally coach. You have to excuse me. It's frighteningly hot here. I don't even know what I look like on screen because I haven't seen myself yet. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to go back to my fancy little tool. Wrong fancy little tool. Excuse me. Great dating coach, tech, not so good. Here we go. I'm there. So hopefully there's some comments. Yes, there's some comments. I haven't done all that for nothing. There's people actually watching. So hopefully you guys can see that, I've hopefully got some value to give you. Okie dokie. Well, anyway, amazing dating coach, tech, not too good. So anyway, there was literally a traits. Pages, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so number one, if I've got it right, excuse me 1 second. No way. This is crazy. Anyway, I'll have to come back to that. I was going to explain why. I might just run through a few of these. This is quite insane. Anyway, we'll get straight to why young guys suck and older guys don't, and I'll come back to the why this happens in a second. Yeah, so many girls I've slept with who are, most people would say, far too young for me. And the modern women have sex a lot quicker than the women from the AIDS era. I can promise you that. Yeah, much thanks to Madonna and Taylor Swift and a bunch of people encouraging them to live this lifestyle. And what I've heard repeatedly is whatever things happen in bed and like, oh, why don't you stay over? And then sometimes if I really like him, why don't we have breakfast in the morning? Like, this is so unusual. This is so unusual. So yeah, as guys, I'm not going to put a date on it, but as guys from certainly my generation and probably at least 10 years before me, maybe a few more, and certainly 10 years after, we grew up in a very, very different world. So some of the stuff I hear regularly from girls, 20 years younger than me, is, oh my God, it's not like bros before hoes. It's like you don't always put your friend first. If you've got, and your friends don't always abandon you if you start to put your friends before girls. So yeah, that's something I've heard repeatedly and something that we're complimenting on. The next thing is, the question I've just got to keep asking yourself, if you were a beautiful, intelligent girl who wanted to live a great life, would you actually date yourself when you were, 21, 22, 23, 23, 24, 25, even when you're 31? When I was 31, after growing up poor and having a pretty horrible life, I did become fairly accomplished. But yeah, I was so immature. I was just such a unsatisfactory human being. So I was really accomplished and good at 3 or 4 things, including drinking 30 Crown Lagers at one time. For the Americans, that's an Australian beer. And yeah, so yeah, it's just yeah. So we're not binge drinking. Hopefully we've got past the hard drugs every night. So plenty of guys in Bondi Beach in their 40s and 50s haven't. And we're not out partying every night. We're not, most of us, hopefully, we're not getting in fist fights. We're not drinking. We're not doing hard drugs. We're not partying. We're not vomiting at 3 a.m. every weekend. And we don't live as if we're on motorbikes or cars on a suicide mission the whole time, which is why, death rates among men under 25 are obscene, because testosterone just makes you do lots of stupid things. I'm one of the foremost. was one of the foremost. Yeah, one of the things that happens with young guys, it's why you can become so successful, is we just get obsessed. I mean, some of us are obsessed with sport, it's jiu-jitsu, or it's basketball, or whatever, or you're obsessed with cars, or many guys are obsessed with their career. They want to get established, and you're often working 80 hours a week. And yeah, so or travel, which is what I got obsessed with in my 30s. So yeah, I'll ask again, if you're a really beautiful girl in your 20s or even early 30s, in many cases, do you actually want to date a guy your own age? Because us white people who are fairly well off commercially, we're about the only people in the world I know of who date so close to their own age range. It's it's unique for the human mammal, if you want to put it that way. So yeah, just some examples of why young guys suck. Many of my exes, including most the better girls of my life, it's like, oh, I'd never date a guy under 30. Why? This is 22-year-olds, models and girls with university degrees. So why would I date a guy under 22? It'd be madness. Well, why would I date a guy under 30? It'd be madness. Some of them even want to date a guy under 40 because you've just got little to, when most guys who are young, they've got very little to offer them. Now, I just said at the start, I'm not talking about money here. I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about status. And we'll go through some of this later. And yeah, a girl I dated who was whatever, 6'1" model, flying around the world for a while. She fell madly in love with this 44-year-old and eventually got her heart broken savagely. She actually wrote a beautiful song about it. And yeah, that's one of the things that made her into the woman she was, that made her so attractive at such a young age, apart from having an incredibly accomplished family of PhDs. Another girl I dated who was on her way to, she had a psychology degree. She was doing more psychology study. This was a bit icky, I thought, but she was dated a 61-year-old for some reason. But yeah, you do get a big chunk of the population of females, and often the best ones, who just don't want to date a guy their own age. The greatest woman of my life, and the woke mob are going to get upset about this. This happened in the Soviet Union, as a sort of a French-Russian girl. She had a relationship when she was 14 with a 29-year-old. And he literally wanted to marry her at like 15 or 16. So again, yeah, that guy, who was a remarkable guy himself by all reports, he made her a remarkable woman. So there's this big chunk of girls, often the smartest, most mature, most psychologically balanced, who just don't want to just watch their boyfriend vomit every day, that sort of thing. An example with me, the absolute love of my life, was my 30s. I just got addicted to travel. Just got completely addicted to travel. So yeah, that really changed things for me. Unfortunately, I've never been near that stage again. So we'll get onto some more in a second. I'm just doing something new. The one thing I should go into in a lot of detail is why you'd actually want to date much younger women. So just give me a second on that point. I'm just going to figure this out. I'm going to try to figure it out. If you, my great tech person, if you could possibly put the link to the like, subscribe in the chat, and just probably pin that for a short time, that would be super useful. As I said, if you're getting value out of this and you want more of it, and our watch times seem to be improving nicely, even though we're screwing a few things up in the tech and presentation side. Yeah, if you just hit subscribe, ring that bell, apparently it makes a huge difference to us. So let me just quickly find the why. If you could just chuck that link in the chat and just pin it. To how have I managed to delete this? I'll just have to do it off the top of my head. Anyway. Oh, I might just quickly go through. Okay, why would you want to date younger women? I should do this off the top of my head. I had a really good list, but I've screwed it up, unfortunately. Oh, here it is. I've got the wrong slides. I'm an idiot. Yeah, amazing dating coach. Not good at tech. Here we go. This is what I wanted to start with. Yeah, they not all. Okay, these are generalizations. I'm not saying every young woman fits all these categories, but as a broad generalization, certainly ones I've been exposed to in my clients, that's definitely been the case for them. So I'll get to your comment soon, which I should have done quicker, but I just want to get onto this, which I wanted to start with. Yeah, some of them just a boundless energy and boundless hunger for life and what it holds, which I'm not saying there's no women who are a bit older who don't have that, but it tends to be a lot more plentiful in their 20s. Some of you may challenge this. Feel free to do it in the comments. I think once you get the basic skills that whatever Tess and Natalia and I and all the other female coaches and my approach coaches teach, it's just so easy. It's so easy. And I personally found some women I was extremely attracted to, who tick a lot of boxes, who might have been late 20s or a little in early 30s. I just found when they really like you, when they think you're Mr. Right, it's like, it's all these fucking games you need to run through and tests and hoops and jumping. I'm just like, I just can't be bothered having all these dates and spending all this time with you. And I mean, because I'm obviously quite good at this, you can see that you're just playing with me. So yeah, I can't overstate that enough. And I could tell you 50, 100 clients who've experienced the same thing I did. Bit controversial. They keep you young. I mean, I can't see myself on camera right now because I'm looking at my notes. But I'm 54 now. You know, I've eaten a good diet and I've done a bit of exercise and yoga. But you know, I'm not some, what they call it, biohacker. Like, what's his name? Asprey, who doesn't look very young anyway. Or some of them actually do, are quite remarkable. But I mean, a lot of those guys, they dye their hair. It's obvious. There's no dye there. And you know, whatever. The fact I've spent a lot of time with women 15, 20, sometimes older years younger than me, quite a few half my age, even, you know, whatever, I should shut up now. Yeah, I think that's really helped keep me young. And I noticed from my experience before, so there's a bit of an audio issue there. Yeah, I can't tell you, just you get some great young girl, just the energy that gives you and her passion for life. And yeah, I don't know. I just think having sex with them, I mean, it does. It's true. It just makes your body produce stuff, and you feel like you're young again. You can reproduce and blah blah blah, and obviously that sort of thing. The other big thing that I've found with female friendships, and this has been gigantic with women I've hooked up with in their early 20s. And then I've sort of in some cases I've maintained a friendship, sometimes for decades, and I've talked to them a bit later, and it's like, oh my God, you're really damaged. Like I or someone, you really haven't got past that. Like my 19-year-old, whatever, my girl who was 22 when I met her, was the elite model. I mean, she really hadn't got past this guy she met when she was 19, and she screwed up. Because like hot women, they just think every guy is the same. They think, oh, I can take advantage of 98% of men, and they just keep, you know, kissing my feet and sucking up to me. But yeah, there's some who you can't. And she unfortunately ran into that roadblock, and oh my God, she really didn't recover for it. So yeah, I mean that's a big factor with women of some beautiful comments about my age. I have to do the how not to get gray hair thing soon. But yeah, I've intentionally not got my hair cut now that I can sort of hobble a bit, not walk, because of that. So I won't say too much about this. It's like stating the bleeding obvious. It's a line from Fawlty Towers for you Australians and English people. Yeah, they're obviously near the peak of their beauty. So yeah, I've had some very healthy 47, 55-year-old guys going, man, you know, you're my coach. You haven't really told anyone this, but yeah, it doesn't really work anymore. I just don't get it. I said, have you tried an attractive woman in their 20s? And they're like, no, I usually date older. And I'm like, maybe give that a go and just see that before you take those little tablets. Incredibly bad for you. But you know, if you need them, whatever, there's natural alternatives. And yeah, in most cases, certainly I've always heard back the positive ones, and I think it's been most of them. It's like, yeah, I don't need it at all, man. I don't need it at all. There's nothing wrong with me, old fella. So yeah, yeah. I mean, I should probably do a video about how to 5-hour threesomes. But yeah, when the girls are in their early 20s, it gives you a flying start. No, I mean, you need the yoga and the diet and everything else, but yeah, that certainly helps. Yeah, particularly if you get the right ones. I should do the comments now. This is a bit disrespectful to you guys. Hopefully I'll master the tech. Oh my God. Can you get the comments up in StreamYard? For some reason, it's not showing up, which is unless I've got the wrong StreamYard. Oh, he's got the wrong StreamYard. So anyway, what a deal. Great dating coach. Okay, a few new names there. That's awesome. Actually, I've got to change the picture from Jackie to me or Tess or something. Matthew says, sugar daddy. Again, if you hit that subscribe link, it'd mean the world to us. Anyway, we didn't mean to put all the links at the start. That wasn't meant to happen. Apologize for that, but we'll yeah, if you could make sure the subscribe one's pinned at the start, that would mean the world to me, and it would mean the world to you, because you're gonna get a lot more of these. I do put a lot of time and energy into this, as you can hopefully see. G'day Martin, g'day Ralph, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, the regulars. Hey David, hey, I don't know your name, Mr. K78. Simon, as long as you're having a good time, it's all great. Ralph, young women who've been around the block with life someone's commented and it's disappeared on me. This is too stressful for me. Young women who've been around the block with life experience who are financially stable young women or old women? Okay, no, I think you mean old women, Ralph. I agree with you. It's not the subject for tonight. It's too complicated, but I've figured out how to get the really high quality young women. I don't know, I think I've got beyond a PhD in that. I'm a professor of the PhD students. So yeah, I've got a few places I look, and yeah, I'll give you a tip. It's not nightclubs, it's not shopping centers like every other bloody whatever pickup dude. So yeah, if you get that, I mean, I don't know, conceited example, if you get like a fly around the world model who started flying around on planes, running a small business, dealing with adults, getting taken advantage of, seeing the world, some of the best ones I've ever been with, they read a lot of books when they're on planes, going to castings, waiting between jobs, waiting while the makeup artist or the hair guy fixes them up. So yeah, you can find them. Beautiful girls like older men, but I think only if they're still well preserved. Good. Yeah, I mean, okay, Simon. Yeah, if you need to be you should be well preserved. That's going to help a lot. But having said that, if you've got insane confidence or status, yeah, I know. Before as a dating coach, I knew some older guys who did very, very well with women, including women much younger than them, who had beer guts and weren't that good, but they were just very, very, very super confident people. My trans friend made a joke about me saying, I like him 24 and Russian girls 50. For me, it's simple. I like young, dense bull cheeks with age. Thanks for the comments, guys. I love that. The other thing is we want to really do a big campaign for questions tonight, because that's what you're getting. That's where you're getting the most value. Me answering other guys' questions. Ralph has an amazing relationship with a woman 20 years younger. When we fell in love, I was 44, she was 24. Amazing chemistry and wonderful sex, lasted 3 years. Yeah. The other thing you got to remember, as long as you're respectful to them, which some guys aren't, some of the guys I learnt off with insane skill, they certainly weren't respectful to women, particularly younger ones, which is horrible. A couple of them have actually treated virgins horrifically. They're burning in hell or going to prison, being whatever, raped with the pedophiles for some of the things those guys did to women, the karma they'll have. But yeah, if you are a good boyfriend to them, you may break their heart. In many cases, you will. If they haven't had a guy they really liked before. But yeah, you add so much to their life. And I've had girls come back and say, oh my God, you did so much for me. I can't believe all the things you did for me, which I'll get to in some of the points. I should say now, I meant to do this at the start, but whatever. There was a huge whatever hurricane or something in the Philippines. So I was unsure about my tech guy and couldn't get him for a while. So yeah, I meant to start. Sorry, I'm crapping on. Looking awesome, James. Beautiful, Simon. Hey, 54. Maybe without beard, 37. Thank you so much. And I've had a very stressful time. I'll need to make more. Who wants me to make more content on health? I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not a dietitian. I'm certainly not a personal trainer. You look at these big fucking biceps. I'm definitely not a doctor, and I wouldn't want to be. I'm not a naturopath. I'm not a yoga teacher. I have no business, no training, whatever in health, but I'm pretty good at I've got a pretty high bullshit meter, and I'm a financial analyst, so I can figure shit out quickly. And I understand basic stats, which many people in the medical profession have no clue about. We just saw years of that. So anyone wants me to talk about health more, we can do that. I better get off the comments and hurry through these because okay, I think we're near the comments, or I've screwed up again. And okay, thanks. Just people saying big thing for many girls. How do I deal with the fact? Okay, I'll get back to what you guys came for. If I can figure out the tech. Okie dokie. So we were doing why you'd want to do that. Now, I should have said at the point, there's a whole bunch of reasons you wouldn't want to date younger women. So I should have put this up the front for women who turn on, who might be seriously offended by me, who tune in. There's a whole bunch of reasons you wouldn't want to date young women. There's a whole bunch of frustrations and stresses with doing it. If you find the right one, that's less of a thing. But yeah, you definitely just want to do that. Can I ask you a bit of a favor, man? Could you possibly just sit behind the curtain? It's a tiny, tiny bit distracting. No offense whatsoever. And did you manage to get the light to work okay? Just play around with it outside. Where I can't see, if you could, please. If you just figure it out outside, there's a PowerPoint there, as you know. So yeah, obviously in your beauty peak, that goes without saying. We can turn it on a bit, but it's good it's working, so you can turn it off for now. But I'll turn it on when the light starts to dim. If you could just open the curtains a bit more, that would be absolutely wonderful. I think I talked about insanely sexual. I'm insanely grateful. I should have maybe put that at the top. If you get the right one, it's like, oh, just move it. I just move it like that. If you get the right one, it's like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. Because many of them, if they're young, particularly in today's age. Oh, by the way, I sound like I'm a proper YouTuber here. You got to hang around till the end. You got to hang around till the end today, because I'm going to explain to you exactly why us older guys have the most absurd advantage over pretty much any younger guy. And this will probably be the most important of points. I only thought of it after I got my 5. When I was doing the 5 and okay, we've got all this other stuff. Like the modern generation has been completely destroyed by porn and drugs and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, really hang around for that. That's going to be, in terms of you going out, and if this is something you want to do, taking advantage of it, this will be the biggest sales point for you ever, to actually get over your fears, get off your ass, and take some action. I've just had so many who, at least for a time, were just insanely grateful to be with me, and some of them went through a whole bunch of real hassles with their friends and family dating me. But they were just so grateful. And it's something, not that I've had much experience dating older women, but something I don't hear from sort of my friends. Yeah, such a cliche, but the way I like to say it is, what they want is great sex and lots of adventure and fun. They're not dragging you out furniture shopping every bloody week, which I don't even know how you can do that. You know, I mean, I've been to IKEA, I've been to furniture stores before when I want something, but the idea that I'm walking around on my precious weekend just looking at nonsense I couldn't care less about, unless there's some productivity example, or I can listen to classical music and be happy, or watch films I love, or read. Another thing, I mean, who's had this? Where's it going? What do you want from me? When are we going to get serious? You know, when are we going to get married? When are we going to get married? When are we going to get married? Any guy with a bit of money has probably had to experience when are we going to get married over and over again. Some of you guys might not have experienced this, but I certainly have many times where you meet a girl, you know, early 20s or even 20s, even teens at some point, And then you check back in on her 5 or 10 years later, and it's like, she just hates men. She just doesn't like men at all, because at that point she's had some high status guy or some, philanderer really do a number on her. And a lot of the hottest ones haven't figured out, some smart hot ones haven't quite figured out that, yes, this guy will sleep with you and he'll date you for a while. He might even take you on a holiday if the sex is good enough, but he's never going to marry you. He's never going to commit to you. And one of my goals in life, if I get a whole bunch of stuff sorted, is actually to be a female dating coach for women. Because I'm not going to compete with, the guys who've been doing it for 10 years in many aspects, but I understand the mistakes these women are making with a lot of the guys they really want, because that's so much of what I hear from many of my clients. Hopefully I don't screw this up. I'm just making the text a bit bigger for me so I'm not leaning in like an idiot. And yeah, it goes without saying, but they're fertile. If you know any women who've been through IVF and failed, I mean, it's pretty serious stuff psychologically. Ironically, there's a bunch of natural health alternatives that can probably work as well, or maybe better. They don't cost 10 grand to throw. Anyway, I should shut up before I get banned from YouTube. And yeah, it gives you enormous status. I started out as a dating coach, working for the second or third most famous guy in the world. He legitimately had a bunch of white guys who were sort of 6 foot tall, and he wanted to hire other groups of people because, obviously Asian guys and short Asian guys are a huge part of his client. This guy did not want to hire me at all. Plus, that being conceited, he was very intimidated by sort of the women I was clearly getting versus the women he was clearly getting. And yeah, he didn't want to hire me at all. But the reason I got it is this elite model. She went out and she met all the other instructors. She met like 5 of them. And I mean, this girl at 22 did the greatest job possible of selling what an awesome guy I was. And I mean, she was incredible at this. Again, this is an extremely well-read girl. The status you get, I mean, a beautiful woman in general, but a young, beautiful one, it's just like, it's not like being Elon Musk or Michael Jordan, but it's almost like being a celebrity for the guys who've had it. That's okay. So that's done there. So yeah, I meant to prompt you guys. Who's got some questions about this? I'm really here to answer your questions more than anything. So who has some questions about what I've said so far, or some objections? Why would you date young women? Or what are the problems? Thank you, Ralph from Germany, one of my favorites. How would you react if the younger girl asks about your age, and when you tell her she seems reluctant? Surely key is to remain confident, not lose your cool. Yeah, you never lose your cool. But yeah, sometimes it's not going to work out. The girl just won't be interested. That's just life. You just can't change that. So, but there's going to be a huge group who will. If you could possibly tell me your age in the comments, I can probably serve you better if I know that. That would be really, really valuable. If you tell me your age in the comments. Yeah, so you want to remain you want to remain confident and not lose your cool for sure. And yeah, meeting the parents, sometimes that's okay, particularly in cultures outside of Australia, America, England, Canada, Western Europe these days. Sometimes it's okay, but other times it can be really, really awful. It's like you get treated like you're a pedophile, rapist. It's just they just treat you appallingly. In some cases, I've turned that ship around, but in other cases, it was just a constant stress where, I mean, there was one girl who was, I would have never married her, but she was a very big influence on my life where I just gave up because I was never going to get her mum on side. And I was just fighting. Who's dated girls who are seeing psychologists? I do that for a very, very short time, but you're not in a relationship with her, you're in a relationship with a psychologist. So yeah, that's not something I enjoy. I can't remember if I put that on my toxic woman checklist a while ago. How would you react? Usually I'm just honest about it. And that's good information for me. because women know when you're lying in many cases. If they really like you, they might sort of delude themselves for a time. But yeah, I think you just want to be honest about it. Meeting parents is quickly. Friend of hers, I don't quite understand. Ralph, I'm 49. Yeah, you really want to make some huge gains on younger women while you're still officially under the 50 mark. That's really going to help you a lot. Martin Lewis says most Aussie women, I can't. Most Aussie chicks are so bogan. They're just so bogan. Yeah, I know. It's like whatever. I can't do it on YouTube Live, but I've got an Aussie girl drunk impression, which gets me a few loves, a few likes. Okay, let's get back to giving you guys value. Wonderful tech guy. I just want to share some of those slides again. So do I need to actually share my screen? Actually, Luke, another one of my favorite regulars. Great topic. Australian guys need awareness that 10-year age gaps are common in many cultures. It's normal. Yeah, much bigger, and it gets to extremes in certain Muslim countries that are just sickening. Where it's like little girls. But yeah, so I'm not a fan. I think that's one of the worst crimes in the world. Just to be very clear, I think a guy who's 40 dating a girl in his early 20s is just what the rest of culture has done for a long time. But to do it, I'll do it in 1 second. If I get a great question, I sometimes give that a lot of attention. But yeah, so anyway, let's just be clear about my stance on the situation. Pedophilia is literally the worst crime against humanity. It's absolutely diabolically horrendous because of what it does to the girl or the person. That's okay. But potentially what that person does to society, because you can really screw someone up. So yeah, I'm not necessarily a big fan of the death penalty. I'm pretty social on a lot of, I'm pretty liberal on a lot of social issues. Stick your dick wherever the hell you want, as long as it's not a 6-year-old. Do whatever you want, marry who you want. I'm pretty liberal on most of that stuff. But yeah, it's a horrific crime against humanity. So I'm not at that for at all. But for some 40-year-old or 45-year-old to date a 22-year-old, it's just like that's what the rest of the world does. We're just trying to be programmed. So yeah, quite clear about that. So I might just run through these slides. Hopefully I don't screw it up. So yeah, just get me in the corner and I'll share my screen. Oh, he learnt a new trick today. He learned how to share his screen. If you chuck me in the corner, that would be amazing. Oops, I've hit the wrong little thing. Okay, it's a plus, not a person. Okay, let's not screw this up. Dunno. Is it going to work? Okay, I don't even know where I am in these slides. Yeah, I think I'll also send you this awesome framework as well. If anyone who gets the greatest piece of content we've ever given, I'll also give you the framework I've given the female coaches to coach my clients through, which I think is incredibly valuable. It's a 3-step process with a bunch of steps underneath it. Obviously, if you get Tess and Atari to help you with that, it's going to be amazing. But even if you do it yourself, it's going to be quite revolutionary for you. So how do we help people? Yeah, hopefully you can see my ugly face in the corner, my big nose. Yeah, this is what I've done for 19 years. Yeah, 2006. I've helped thousands of guys on 4-day boot camps from all over the world. So many people have flown from America, Sweden, Russia, you name it, Toronto. And yeah, we've got 3 promises. We give you supreme social confidence, we get your stack of hot dates and a beautiful, loving girlfriend fast. What's this designed for? It's to get you off that horrific merry-go-round of being single, lonely, sad, maybe getting depressed, worrying about getting old, never going to get anywhere, to finally meeting someone, finally getting somewhere. And then it's good for 6 months, it's good for a year, it's good for 3 months. And then it just gets so bad, the relationship, that, you want to be single again. And oftentimes it's because you're not getting girls who are good enough for you, because you don't put enough effort, who are appropriate matches for you because you're not putting enough effort in, or you don't have the skills, or you're just too busy and you just end up with the hottest girl who landed on your dick, and that comes back to almost kill you. So yeah, and this works for guys who want to live like a rock star for a while. And it works for guys who want to meet their absolute love. Oh, I didn't blow the face out, silly me. And it works for guys who want to meet the absolute love of their life. So yeah, you get to work one-on-one with models who both have degrees, multiple degrees. And there's a whole bunch of others. Yeah, we charge a fair bit of money for this usually, but we want to get our live streams going. So yeah, this could literally be you with the lovely Natalia tomorrow. I mean, Tess and her are just amazing. What we do is we identify and start to eliminate key mistakes that have and will hold you back your entire life. Relative to the average, Aussie, American, Canadian, English, many European dudes, you'll master approaching, master dating, master conversation. And you'll leave with this comprehensive 7 to 10 point plan and the top 3 action items in training to, if you've got the time to have dates every week. And many guys have met, if not their dream girlfriend, but the best girl they've ever met in their life. Some guys have met their dream girlfriend within 90 days. So this guy changed my life. And basically this statement was one of his top 3. If you want to be successful, find someone who's achieved the results you have, copy what they do, and you'll achieve the same results. And I meant to show you a picture of me with all these people around me. But I was terrible myself. I'm probably like a lot of my clients, analytical and reasonably successful. And I managed to solve these myself. And I've trained a whole bunch of girls how to solve them for me. Hopefully that worked. Could you guys see my screen? Have I just embarrassed myself? Did people see my screen then? Hopefully. I beg you did. Oh my God. I'll give you some more value. I'll give you some more stuff and I'll run through that. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. Okie dokie. So why don't younger women, young girls suck, guys don't? Thank you for the questions, guys. I really appreciate them. Okay, next point is should be back in the middle of the screen. We don't try to bang everything that moves. I'll start with the example. The love of my life, I was early 30s, I was traveling. It's like I let her go, and I've never found anything like that since, because it's like we had a misunderstanding. It wasn't just clearly I'd rather travel than you. We had a little misunderstanding caused by being apart for a long time and communicating online. With her pretty busy and me traveling. But I've never found anything like that since. I mean, if I met her today, I mean, she'd be impregnated in 18 months tops. Young, if you like, slightly higher value guys, we're never going to commit. And some of the smarter ones figure this out at some point. So, guys, from really 35 on, we're far more open to actually having a relationship or taking a good girl seriously. Many men have cheated, particularly if you married your childhood sweetheart, worked hard, you get a BMW and take some time to go to the gym and you get some abs, all these hot young girls, paying, particularly your secretary and staff, throwing themselves at you. So some older guys who basically not had much sex, they're very likely to cheat too. But a guy who's sort of had his fair share, and the girls know whether you've had your fair share or not when they meet you. You can't fool women unless you're exceptional or really good. That they know we're just less likely to cheat. I mean, I've seen this with my female trainers. I've seen this with some of my ex-girlfriends. Just the chronic heartache that all women go through. Because they don't understand, he'll sleep with me, he'll date me for 3 months, but he's never going to marry me, or he's never going to commit to me, and they don't understand why. The heartache these girls go through, because they think their benchmark is they met this guy when they were 23 who was completely amazing, and they were together 3 or 6 months. He might have never been marriage material. She might have never ever been marriage material for me. But it's like, I'm working 60 hours a week. She gives great blowjobs. My friends think I'm a legend, and so some of these women can get really, really, really damaged by these guys. But the point is, women know this. I try to teach with stories because it's much more effective. But what was I, 34? 34, and I met a 23-year-old love of my life. And I told her, when I was in finance, I was literally going grey. It's like the sides were just grey, and there was a little bit of grey there. I had to fight with a $80 billion company. You tend to lose, even if they fire 8 people, you still lose. So yeah, and yeah, I was going grey and I was unhealthy and I was smoking and coffee and binge drinking on the weekend and stresses. But yeah, I was literally going grey, and then it reversed when I sort of ate a bit healthier, managed to cut back on the cigarettes and drinking. And she's like, "Oh, I can't do the accent. I can't wait till you go grey, baby. That's a sign you've matured." I can't remember exactly what she said now, but as I became a dating coach, that comment has just stuck with me. This is why women who aren't brainwashed in the West, completely, utterly freaking brainwashed, just like us men are, that they don't want to date some desirable guy 3, 6, even 10 years older than them. They want a guy who's mature, who's actually going to take them seriously. The other thing that I calmly explain to several of my female coaches who are my friends, it's like, two of my female coaches, they I'm going into examples here. Two of my female coaches, they really love younger guys. It's like they're genetically more attracted to younger guys than an older guy. At least it could be a program of society. I don't know exactly. But I've seen them with clients, and they'll get really attracted to some young guy, and like this super desirable guy who's 5 or 10 years older than them, they don't have the level of sexual attraction. It could be they're sick of being hurt by more confident men, so they've convinced themselves that, oh, I like younger men because, whatever, Madonna's doing it, Taylor's, all these celebrities are doing it, Demi Moore's doing it, I gotta do it too. That's cool. So it could be an actual genetic thing, which should be like I don't say homosexual people, whatever, they're flawed, they're never going to reproduce. But it could be some sort of, that was silly. But it could be some sort of flaw with these girls whereby they just prefer guys who aren't going to be particularly good mates long term. Maybe anyway, I'll get too far into Darwin again. By the way, I've been in crutches and a wheelchair for a while, so excuse my weird posture. So yeah, the thing that I've tried to explain calmly to these women, sometimes my friends, is if you date a guy 5 years older than you and you're 22, 25, 28 and hot, or if you date a guy younger than you, for God's sake, all you're doing is training him to be some killer with women. Because one of the biggest things that ever happened to me with women was I got lucky enough to date a model who was the S word with a capital S, capital U, etc. But she was just bored for one night, and I was the only guy around. But the second model I dated, anyway, she I was with her for a while, and she just I saw the matrix. I saw how you do it. Once I saw that, I'm not saying it became easy, but it came what seemed just impossible for me, unless you get some gold digger, with them you're competing against guys very wealthy too. It's just actually something that seemed impossible to me. You needed fame to do. It just actually became really easy because I understood the life of really beautiful women and what they go through and what they like and what they dislike. That's probably a topic for a YouTube video and other live. Try not to bang everything that moves. I'm just going to quickly, can you bring me up in the corner? I might just take questions here. So how do I do this? Okay, I go back to this little tab. I'm 54. When I grew up, computers were just green writing on black screens. They didn't do very much. I can promise you that. And if you wanted to do anything, you had to learn to code, which I did briefly, but unfortunately left. So any good questions, I'll take them at this point. Oh, Simon Slash, nobody here in this chat interested in girls 30 plus. If you actually, this is a good question. I meant to do the stuff, the banners. If you're willing to disclose your age and your target age, that would be really interesting. Okay, sorry about that. Just see if there's any good questions, and then we'll So I'm just like my age. I realized I do not want to marry. I want to be a moral hedonistic. Yeah, I'm the opposite now, having had whatever experience I have. I want, the love of my life morphed with the greatest woman of my life, and surrounded by kids and dogs and somewhere like that. I want it, and my life, which is by many people's standards probably been fairly good. I don't think it'd be complete without it. But anyway, that's just my opinions. Once you live the hedonistic lifestyle for a long time, it really gets old. I think I've talked previously about player's remorse. And I was never in the Wilt Chamberlain league by any stretch. I was much more quality rather than, can I get to 500 guy. One question for you, coach. Could there be some truth to the assumption that babes, when you are old and wish to date them, think that maybe you have a great tool and know how to use it? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not saying there aren't young guys who aren't really good in bed. There obviously are, but there's a much, much higher percentage of older guys, particularly if it looks like they've got some skills with women and they've actually had some experience. I got rejected by 2 30-year-old plus women. Anyway, the comments have changed on me. Okay, so let's get back to it. If you can put me up on screen for a second, please. Take me off to the left, and I'll figure out my little. Put me in a little corner, and I'll figure out my little. Okay, let's do this properly this time. Okay. Whoops. No, I'm going to screw up again. Do little clips called James's Tech Struggles. Okay, who can? Whoops, it's the wrong slide. For anyone who joined, I am hopefully going to just demonstrate this is worth your time. Hopefully people can see me and 2 girls and a bit of writing on the screen. I don't know if you can. I hope you can. But yeah, anyway, why should you listen to me? Speed of light. Yeah, I've done it. I've been there. I've done it. Please subscribe. It would help us. We'll give you more content. Yeah, this has been my life. It's pretty much all women in their early 20s. In some cases, I stay with them for many, many years. I'm hoping to get knocked off YouTube. Yeah, but it's not just me. I've helped I've coached thousands of guys. I've helped hundreds of guys in their 40s and 50s from all over the world do pretty much the same as me. In many cases, many, many threesomes, and guys who are 5'4" and shit. And this guy's got a full head of grey hair, and yeah, he's 26 to 36 girls he's dated. I think I was over a 2-year period. He's 58 and 59, 60, and they weren't just whatever gold diggers. He doesn't have an enormous amount of money by any stretch. He's a singer, clinical psychologist, a yoga teacher. So yeah, anyway, you get the point. Supreme Social Confidence, Stack of Hot Dates. If anyone who gets the top 10 mistakes, we'll also give you the framework we use. Just quickly, how we help people. I'm going to race through this. I've helped thousands of guys on 4-day boot camps from all over the world completely transform their life with women. I haven't done this alone. I've done this with a group of women you see in the center of the photo. And we give you Supreme Social Confidence, a stack of hot dates, and beautiful, loving dream girlfriend fast. What we do is this is designed to get you off that horrific merry-go-round of being single, lonely, sad, maybe getting depressed. Maybe in many cases, your career is suffering because of it. My career suffered badly because I was just getting shit that I'd single the whole time. Everyone called me gay, which in Perth at that time was like being called a pedophile. I think it's changed, hopefully. You go from being single, lonely, and sad, maybe getting depressed, maybe sabotaging other areas of life, to being stuck in a relationship that's so bad that you dream of being single alone again, possibly encountering an Amber Heard. The other thing about this I've got to say is when you're perpetually single as a guy, most of the more desirable men, your better group of friends, at some point they'll pair off in relationships because they've got more going for them. Some woman will grab them even if they've got no skills. So one thing I found, certainly in my late 20s, was that I was left with not the greatest chunk of my friendship group, because the guys who were perpetually single too, they tended to not necessarily have their life going the way they wanted. So that was a really big pain for me. It's like, where's all my friends gone? They won't play basketball with me anymore. They don't want to hang out with me. In some cases, their girlfriends basically disowned me. And then, I've had a toxic relationship. Many guys I coach have had a toxic relationship, which is one of the reasons they came to me to prevent that happening again. So whether you want to live like a rock star for a while, not that I'm Mick Jagger by any stretch, or whether you want to find true love, this helps you. How do we help you? These 2 lovely women, there's actually 6 of them, but these are the best. Many of you have experienced Tess. I shouldn't have said that. Many of you have been exposed to Tess. Probably shouldn't have said that either. And Natalia is wonderful, wonderful too. These girls are models. I think both of them have 2 degrees, and they're both incredible athletes. She was a pro volleyball player. We usually charge a lot of money for this, but we're trying to launch our lives. So yeah, if you book a call tomorrow, if you could just chuck the link in the chat and pin it for a little bit, that would be wonderful. And yeah, this could be you tomorrow with Tess in this case. So yeah, we will identify and start to eliminate the key mistakes you've been making that have and will hold you back your entire life. Relative to the average guy, you're master approaching, master dating, master conversation, and you'll leave with a comprehensive 7 to 10 point plan plus 3 action items and training to get you, hot dates every week on route to your dream girlfriend if you've got the time to go on hot dates every week. And if you don't get your dream girlfriend, you'll get the best girl you've ever got. Supreme social confidence, stack of hot dates, beautiful loving girlfriend fast. This guy really changed my life. If you want to be successful, find someone who's achieved the same results you have, copy what they do and you'll achieve the same results. And yeah, that's fantastic. So now I've got to get back to the content. Hopefully there should be a link pinned at the top. I don't know how to do that. If anyone's interested, there's a few sessions tomorrow. Now I've got to get back to my little tool. So I've got to stop sharing the screen and hopefully you guys can see me on the screen. And if you can, I got to get back to my notes. Okie dokie. Okay, next point. Really, really good one. And this is some feedback I hear constantly. If you're, I need someone to monitor if there's any good questions coming through. So, thanks for telling me about the slides, Mr. 78. So yeah, this is huge. This is fucking enormous. I've just got to ask you again, if you grew up in a Western country, would you want to date yourself when you were 21 or 18 or 29, or in many cases 35? And it's probably 35 on tonight. And I think if most of you are honest with yourself, it's like, what would I give a woman? I hadn't really lived. I'd spent my time drinking or doing drugs. I was obsessed by whatever my career or my jiu-jitsu or my video games. It's just, we don't really have much, as I said, on a whatever financial metric. I mean, I was probably a very desirable guy at 31, but I was a horrible boyfriend because I knew nothing whatsoever about women. And, I was world class at knowing nothing about women at 31. But a Nobel Prize winner, to put it mildly. But yeah, many of my friends just had little or no idea about this. So yeah, we've got so much to share once we get a bit older, and yeah, as I said, get some grey hairs. In many parts of the world, young hot women are attracted to grey hairs. That's what they want. So yeah, I can't speak for everyone in this thing because I don't know you, haven't met you. But yeah, the amount I've improved so many women's lives. One of whom threw a red sole. If anyone knows what a red soled shoe is, one of them threw a red soled shoe at me one time when I told her I was going to leave her, and whatever. Yeah, it's incredible. We've got valuable life lessons to pass on. You might not think you're, I don't know, Elon Musk, Tony Robbins, or some stoic philosopher. But if you've got 10 or 15 years of life experience she doesn't have, particularly if you've done something with your life, you've got so much you can do. The secret that women have been using since the start of freaking time is, if they want to be successful at something, date a guy who is already successful at that thing. In many cases, it's true love, it's attraction, because he's so good at X, Y, or Z that she's really attracted to him. It's not just whatever financial or gold digging. Yeah, it's just incredible. So yeah, we've got so much we can pass on, particularly with career as well, massively with career. There's just so much you learn. There's so many mistakes you make where you know how to handle that situation. I mean, I've had some pretty impressive young women, I certainly thought, who had some big holes in what they needed to have a successful or happy life. And yeah, I've been able to fill those holes. I don't just mean in the bedroom, or the back of a car in some cases. Yeah, so yeah, it's really, really, really important. Yeah, I should be center stage now, please. Some of you Sorry, I'm looking at the YouTube, which isn't up to date like my thing. I'm hopeless at the tech stuff. Anyway, I'm getting better. Yeah, one of the things I really think I've done for women, apart from everything else I just said, was I've introduced girls to books that completely changed their life. As many of you know, most books, self-help books, are dreadful. So if you're lucky, one or two good ideas strung out over 300 pages, but there's certain that would completely change your life, particularly philosophy and literature. So yeah, the different, just buying a girl a book, and you spend whatever it is, $20 on a book, maybe less with Amazon, and it completely changes everything for them. Some of the great joys probably most of the great joys of my life have been meeting a girl in a home city, wherever that is, Tehran, some crazy places I've had girlfriends. This is years ago, where I could have been basically killed for that. And then getting to meet their parents, and also in many cases traveling with them. These are some of the greatest moments of my life have been sort of traveling through India and Cambodia and all these places with some girl who's lived in the upper echelons of France, Russia. It was some of the defining moments. The greatest day of my life was with her in a place called Varanasi in India. She's got a lot of bitterness towards me because I was addicted to travel. Not the most remarkable woman I've ever met, and she was difficult to date because she had about 40 IQ points on me on a good day for me. But yeah, just she thanked me later on, even through all the bitterness about whatever, about what an incredible impact I had in her life, and she had an equally good impact on my life. You can give them valuable contacts and friends. This is especially true commercially if you're sort of in the same industry. But yeah, I'll get to some more of this stuff later. You can introduce them to impressive people, to sort of psychologically sound people, and really hot young girls. They're often surrounded by users and psychologically unsound people, and often they're generally I'm brought to. The great women of my life, I've been brought together primarily by travel, or our love of travel, even if I was working on my business, and my great love of literature, and also my love of nature to some extent. And other than that cohort of women, there hasn't really been that much else to speak of. So I think that's what's certainly done it for me. And the point I was trying to make before I got distracted is, because I'd traveled way more than these girls, or many of the girls I've dated have read more literature and books than me. But yeah, I've probably seen more films than them, great films, because that's been a passion of mine, and I don't watch TV. Yeah, it's just that, I'll tell you, be the first guy to show, got very comparable content, be the first guy to show a really enlightened, progressive young woman, be the first guy to show her Kieslowski's Decalogue, which I personally think is the greatest films of all time. She'll cry her eyes out through some of them, and she'll go, that's like art on a different scale. For you guys who aren't like me, I'm not saying no one's like me. I mean, in a good way. I've got certain interests and passions in life that the majority of people don't share. But yeah, it could just be like taking them to this beautiful beach in your city that no one knows about. It could be helping them discover these amazing cafes or restaurants. I'm just trying to think of stuff that isn't me. It could be connecting over video games. It could be connecting over anything. It could be connecting over jiu-jitsu these days. It's just the life experience that you can give to a girl is really, really quite incredible. I'm just going to check in with the questions. I'm going to have to figure out my check in / oh, I asked them. Okay. Thanks for letting me know what's going on. Okay, Luke, what's the blueprint of what a 28 to 30-year-old woman expects from a 45-year-old man if she wants a serious relationship from him? That is a good question. I think if you just watch all this, that will answer it. Obviously, confidence, skills. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Well, all of tonight, everything tonight, and confidence, skills, that sort of thing. So that would be definitely what I would suggest. Just watch tonight. Maybe watch the younger woman one. Watch Tess and I coaching. It wasn't the greatest example for a reason or two, but you just watch that, and I think you'll figure it out. You guys can see the questions in the chat, hopefully. I don't know much about this. What is the blueprint of what a 28 to 32-year-old woman expects of a 45-year-old man if she wants a serious relationship from him? Everything tonight: skills, confidence, stuff in common. I mean, confidence is number one. If you're considerably older than a girl and you're not confident, then you better have a lot of money and you better be ready for this to turn really pear-shaped on you. That would be, or you better be really, really handsome and be ready for this to turn really pear-shaped on you. So some great questions. Okay, I will get back to my content. Okie dokie. Where are we? Okay, life experience. I forgot some examples on that. I apologize for that. A model I dated was in New York. I mean, she knew more famous people than anyone I've ever met in my life growing up in Australia, including a fairly famous record producer who's been a friend since he was young. Reasonably famous. His boss certainly is. So I've introduced this model to people she probably wouldn't meet. She introduced me to a lot of remarkable people. But I introduced her to the founder of one of the most famous companies in the world. I'm giving great tips. Yeah, a lot of the better models, their ego is not dating a football player or a rapper or a rich guy. They're dating a guy they perceive as smart, because that's what they want to be seen as valuable for, when some of them really are. Sorry, man, I'm probably getting quite dark. Could you, Surya, can you put the light on, please? I forgot about that. Yeah, turn it on, please. Hopefully the camera is adjusting. Do I look prettier now? Do I look prettier now, guys? Let me just see if I look prettier. No, the white one, I think. Different one. Really, it's making me really red. Anyway, no, it's okay. Just leave it there. It's probably because I got flux on. Okay, sorry about that. It's getting very, very dark soon. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Actually, just try a slightly less bright one, like a slightly less fluorescent one. Just take some of the white light out. You see, that's no, the second one, not the super white. Yes, that's good. Thank you. Hopefully, I look sexier now. Thank you. Yeah, people just look at my content and go, "That guy's got no idea what he's doing." It's so. I mean, look at the background I've got. It's not the best, but yeah, the content I think is amazing. Hopefully, you guys agree. Okay, so in terms of life experience, yeah, just that girl, I introduced her to a lot of wonderful people, some corporate lawyers, a touring musician. The two girls I showed you a few pictures of, I dated for a long time. Dated bisexual girls the longest. Yeah, I introduced him to the record producer, finance guys, a bunch of travel friends, a bunch of business owners, people they just wouldn't normally meet. And I mean, I think that was an amazing growth experience for me. Not me, but I could give you a dozen examples like this. When I was just completely and utterly woeful with women, my close DJ friend's girlfriend, who was smoking hot, like ouch, ouch, ouch. She's a ridiculously hot girl who's pretty smart. And I gave her some career tips that, I don't know if it made her rich, but it made her very, very, very comfortable by age 30 that she would never got if she hadn't met me. So yeah, I've done sort of similar. I mean, I don't know if anyway, I should move on. So yeah, there's so many things about your life experience that you can massively enrich their lives. And I'm not selling you here on, I'm selling you why you should date younger women, but I'm doing this why I'm doing this to explain why it's such a benefit for them. It's not some sleazy, icky, rich guy, and a Nicole Smith was some Texan oil billionaire. It's like, it's the way the rest of society does it. The rest of humanity does it. And most of the rest I've known, I've been to 100 countries. So yeah, the other thing is, I mean, many girls said some of the precious memories of their life was the time we traveled together, particularly for a young girl. I mean, I took one girl to American Samoa, which is one of the most fucking, this is Mr. 100 countries, 103 countries. It's like 112, depending how you measure it. It's like, this is one of the top 10, and no one's ever heard of it. No one ever goes there. We never saw some other tourists. That was just extraordinary. I mean, she would have matured psychologically 10 years in whatever the week and a half we spent there. Not even that, a week. Talked about foreign films, books. And yeah, you can really change their worldview. I mean, lately, I mean, I've some girls who are sort of way down the woke scale. I just said, this just doesn't make any sense. It's just people who run corporations and banks trying to manipulate us and control us. And I'm not saying she came around to my view of the world. Some of them did, but they certainly softened their crazy views. I must say, you know, when I was in my 30s, I mean, I'm like, oh God, I'm glad I'm in Perth just in case Osama bin Laden comes after me. He's going to bomb the clock tower, whatever it's called. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, again, it's girls and friendships with really interesting people that have put this through to me. Okie dokie. So yeah, I mean, some of the best content we've ever given away. If you could just check the calendar link, make sure that's working. What I asked before, please, wonderful tech guy. And if you could take the, if you could replace it with where we give them the framework and the best content of all time, that would be wonderful. So yeah, what I'm giving you has changed a bunch of guys' lives, and it's literally helped. And this is the thing I give to my female coaches to coach you. So I think what I'm giving away here is very valuable. You'll just see for the best piece of content, which I think is top 10 mistakes. The light's gone out. Hello, Satya. The light's gone out for some reason. Can you please turn that one on straight away? I'm going to be very embarrassed right now. Just turn that one on first. We need that on. Turn that one on first. And can you pin that comment, please? I'm in a very remote part of Indonesia now that's beautiful. And my ring light's just gone dead. So yeah, hopefully. Yeah, but no, we need that one too, please. This is throwing me off my game a little bit. Okie dokie. Please come on. Oh, not much power. If you can get it a bit brighter, that would be awesome. So some relationship experience. This is my next point. I think this is point number 4 from memory. Yes. So yeah, I'm not saying all of you. I mean, I coach some older guys who've had 0 relationship experience, but yeah, we're usually sorry. If there's any way you can move it closer as well, if that's all light we can get. We're usually, I can do without that for the time being. Oh, it's going to come from the side and show the world what a big freaking nose I have. I'm not going to look pretty. Most of us older guys, we have some relationship experience. We know what good looks like. Like I have broken up with largely because of my addiction to travel or my addiction to threesomes with girls who weren't bisexual. I broke up with some amazing girls because I found some girl who might have been a level or 2 hotter, in some cases more sexual. Or bisexual. And yeah, like, I don't know, at a time in my life when they were still fertile, I could have reconnected with the 2 women I talk about the whole time, or by far and away the greatest girl I've ever met in an English-speaking country, like the Michael Jordan of English-speaking women, who was sort of half Japanese, half Dutch or German. Yeah, if I hadn't had my whatever, I just want to get lots of threesomes. I don't want to have sex with one girl at a time. If I hadn't been through that stage and I've been thinking about, oh, well, you know, I'm in my late 30s, early 40s already. I want to have kids at some point. This girl's still definitely fertile. I should probably take some action here, but I didn't, because I just wanted, so yeah, the thing is, older guys don't make these mistakes as much if you've had some experience with women, which is what all these young women want. So yeah, if possible, could you do the problem solving outside and then bring it in, please? Can you pull the whole all the white down so the light's directly on me, please? That would be wonderful. So again, you're going to see my big nose, all this light from the top, because I've filmed so many girls who are models for my business. I know quite a lot about filmmaking for whatever. So I'm going to look really ugly here. This is me being funny, by the way. I'm one of the least vain people you've ever met, I think. So yeah, older guys, women think, and often we do, they know what good looks like. So, and yet, many of my clients, not all of them, they've had past relationships, and they've had past relationships that were mostly good, even though they got a bit crappy at the end. They've had past relationships that were a disaster. So we can draw upon this experience. So again, you can recognize what good looks like. So yeah, this girl's not perfect. She can get a bit shitty every month, and we don't have this thing in common, which I'd really like. But yeah, compared to my last 3 relationships, or compared to these girls I had short flings with and a couple of holidays, she's really good. I'm not going to screw this one up. Like I've done, badly. I probably went I probably went down the life path that was right for me. I'm a big believer in the Stoics and the Buddhist philosophers. But yeah, I've definitely missed out on the family with, the 2 greatest women, and the third, I mean, no one was even close to them. Which is another lesson for you. You've got to kiss a bunch of frogs to get your princess in 2025 in a Western country. Let me tell you that, because there's, the percentage of dateable women in 2025, you need to take this outside because it might be the sound. Oh, sorry, man. Percentage of dateable women in 2025 versus 1985 or 2005, it's way lower. So it takes some work to get a girl who's not damaged by society or an ex-boyfriend or the media or something. I mean, again, I'm not being misogynistic here. I would say exactly the same thing to women, which is going to be my number 1 point, which is going to be the most powerful point of the night for you guys. So yeah, you've solved painful mistakes in relationships. You've understood what a good girl looks like. I think by the metrics of society, coming from big nose, skinny, not really friends, and the most clueless guy about women in the face of the earth, horrible childhood, getting bullied, everything against me apart from sexual abuse. I had everything going against me. Just weird, did not fit in at all where I grew up. I'm an adopted kid. Like, just did not fit in at all. I mean, I sometimes love the bogans better than white collar guys, but yeah, all the guys I grew up with, like, hey man, I heard you drunk a whole fucking carton of Crownies, man. Fucking high five, and the best guys I know. So yeah, I grew up with people like that who thought, I don't know, Shakespeare was a bar in Subiaco and didn't know who Tchaikovsky was, or the people I love. I just crap on about whatever my passion's too much. I probably shouldn't do that. So I was a pretty desirable guy. In my 30s, and then a bit into my 30s, I actually got quite insane skills, simply because I turned my back on my finance career to actually get these skills. When I say insane, I'm not the Michael Jordan of meeting and attracting beautiful women. Nowhere near. I've learned from guys way better than me. But yeah, I'd like to think I'm the Phil Jackson for any of you who follow my basketball metaphor. Not necessarily the greatest person at doing it, but definitely up there in terms of general society. But as a coach, I'm Phil Jackson. I've got 11 rings, more rings than fingers. So yeah, made myself fairly desirable in my 30s and got quite a lot of skill. But yeah, I was a really horrible boyfriend to a number of women without actually meaning to cause them any harm, which is the big point I want to make with you. So yeah, and I mean, the worst thing I did in my life by far, which it wasn't all my fault, it was a misunderstanding, was the way I treated love of my life, who completely changed my life. And yeah, I probably treated other girls not very well because I was young. I didn't know. I had a gold digger girlfriend who gave me some insane sex skills compared to all the feedback I got, and yeah, I abused them without even know I was abusing it. The point I'm making is a guy's had some relationship experience and has got to understand women a bit better, which is most men of a certain age, maybe not that many in these days. We're not going to make those mistakes or hurt someone who is very good to us again. And women know this. Women are so good at this stuff. We're good at, building bridges and building planes and putting rocket ships in the air and coding and sport, and we're strong and we're aggressive and we're competitive and we're good at long-term planning. Women are very good at everything to do with social skills and manipulation and knowing what's going on in a relationship and knowing how to control you, knowing whether you're lying. I'm going to say this every freaking time I do this. Men are stupid. Men are stupid. If you have a penis, you are really, really stupid in the majority of cases. I'm talking socially, knowing what's going on. And yeah, women are crazy. Women are crazy. And it's not necessarily their fault. Society's done a lot to it. But yeah, if you understood the crap that goes, the hormones that go through their body all the time, it's like you start to understand. Female Brain was a book that really helped me emphasize with women much better. So I'm in a remote part where you might be able to hear Amans in the background doing the Muslim prayer chants, which I really like most of the time. I'm trying to move some of my events and do residentials here. That's one of the reasons I'm here. So yeah, so that's good. So yeah, next point is any great questions that have come through in that time? Whoa, some more. I might just work up. I've got to do the questions. I would never want to be a woman. I hear you, but some women say that, particularly before they're 30. Women 30 to 50, everyone looks like, why aren't you a mum already? I know it's horrendous. And for you guys, you can be a playboy, but being a guy is much more fun. I can tell you right now, being a playboy for well over a decade is not what it's cut out to, particularly when you realize that there were girls that you can't get again. Or it's hard to, I lived in Bondi Beach, Australia, so I wasn't in Moscow or Paris or New York. That's one of the reasons I had trouble replicating what I found in those places. So yeah, that's a good question. So I'm just moving upwards. Thanks for the questions, guys. That's what I'm here for. And I learned so much about my YouTube people as well as distinct from my clients, which is a very different group of people, but from your questions. A woman asked me if I was a reformed fuckboy because I hadn't had a serious relationship in a long time, just dating sex. What's the best way to handle this shit test? You ask good questions. I would just challenge her and go, what makes you say that? And then she's going to actually have to justify. This is off the top of my head answer. This is actually going to justify her comments rather than just being a test. Because women are obviously socially so much smarter than us. Men are stupid. Women are crazy. Men are stupid socially. But many of them don't think through the logic of their tests. It's just something they do with emotion. So if you just asked her, what makes you say that? The other thing that came up with, which might get you in trouble if you're dating women who are at the stage where they want to settle down, is you may well find that okay, a woman's asking a guy, I think he's in his 40s or something, who from memory is reasonably successful, are you a reformed playboy? They're going to ask this to every successful guy to see if he's a player. I'm going to see how he handles it. I was going to say, yeah, I had a good answer. I could say, oh, that sounds like a compliment, but yeah, what makes you say that? The other thing you could say that's probably my first answer was better. You could say is, yeah, I guess I am, but just what I've told you before, I'm really looking to meet. I'm really looking to meet someone special. So I'm just trying to find her. I wouldn't take too much answer to that. Nobody's perfect asking. I know you've collaborated with James Marshall of Natural Lifestyles. Yeah, we were. so we still are friends, but yeah, he's he left Australia and he got better marketing people than me, and he did a bunch of stuff that I didn't do. He's called me a mentor in at least one video, which, given where he is now, where I am, is obviously very flattering. So yeah, I don't know. Let's just say he took a huge amount from me. Simon saying, I think you're the right coach. Never a good idea to be too defensive. I don't quite understand that. I'd love to know. Are you familiar with men from the dating community in Australia? Yes, in all cases. I've met both of them, Alex and Dan. Again, bloody Dan. Anyway, I won't say. Again, he got into YouTube early, so yeah, I made a huge mistake there. For anyone who didn't know, conceded again. Why am I so freaking good at this compared to anyone I've ever heard of? By the metric of clients who fly from around the world to do my courses, and sometimes say my 4-day course was better than 10-day courses and 3-month courses and all this. It's because this is all I've done. I'm a dating coach. You can tell how bad I am at tech and everything that's going on. I'm not a YouTuber. I can come up with copywriting, but I'm not a marketer. I mean, pushing all these buttons in some software is like, oh God, I'd rather do anything apart from this. I'm ADHD. So yeah, the reason is that my first ever YouTube content went viral. It was getting 50,000 views a month. People were coming up to me the whole bloody time. They can't remember when I was with my girlfriends and going with my friends, and more information than you need to give away on YouTube. But yeah, I literally in Speedos at saunas and at the beach. I don't walk around in Speedos. I just swim in them because it's much more practical. Just for any Speedo haters. I can't stand guys walking around in them. I think, no, that's for the Mardi Gras. But yeah, I wear them when I swim simply because I can carry them. And I have these board shorts dragging behind me. I like ocean swimming. More information you need, guys. Sorry. But yeah, 3 guys, it wasn't a month. It was like 5 weeks, came up and said, oh man, I saw your speech. It was really good. I met my girlfriend, which is really, really flattering and nice. But I don't want this happening the whole time. Yeah, particularly when you're trying to get your way with some new girl you're on a date with, and what do you do for a living? Oh, I teach social skills. And then some guy comes and goes, oh man, I saw your speech. This is the best dating advice I've ever heard. What's this about dating advice? Yeah, well, dating is a social skill. Do you disagree with me? But yeah, so that was something interesting. Just checking the clients. Simon, if anyone's asked a really good question, or any question that I haven't paid attention to, just put it in the chat, please. I should never want to be a woman. Yeah, I mean, the saddest, most pitiful, most psychologically challenged human beings I've ever met, and you can say that for Jordan Peterson and most of the psychologists I know too, is some fairly accomplished, attractive woman who's too late to have kids. And if she's failed with IVF, my freaking God. I mean, I'm just hearing stories from my friends and some of my clients' friends, but yeah, they just fall off the fucking whatever. Apparently it's not a healthy thing for their body. From what I hear, I'm not an IVF specialist. Ralph, you got to be a gentleman who accepts his age. Trying to act young and competing with other young chads is not helpful. I had to learn this. Of course, we know sort of stay in shape. Yeah, I went into that in a lot of detail on the Dating Younger Women webinar, whatever I called it, which I'm probably going to repeat on US time zones. It will be dramatically better. And if I get the organization right, I'll have some of the questions from the first one to farm plus this one. Nobody's perfect because the media and society bash older men for desiring younger women. Absolutely. It's all part of the plan. They figured out a long time ago that they're rolling out slowly for us. I'm not going into details because it's YouTube, but I was listening to a podcast of the editor of Cosmo America, and she was being instructed by, I wonder who, to make up these crazy stories about some woman in buttfuck Idaho or Ohio, some little small country town, who's dating 13 guys at one time. Yeah, this is the early 70s she was doing this. And if you look at the trend in movies and I don't know, TV at that time, it was very much in the direction of smashing us men down and liberating women. I'm all for women's liberation. I was a feminist up to, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I'm equal rights for every human being, massive about that. But the idea that the idea that, you know, it's almost impossible for an Asian guy to get into Harvard because he doesn't have a good suntan. His eyes are the wrong shape. They don't like Asians at Harvard because there's too many of them. And they're letting other people in. It's just it's appalling to me. It's racism. It's racism with some fancy terms like equal opportunity, or DI. Anyway, I'll shut up about this. Singer-songwriter success. Okay, cool. Anyway, Simon, I'll get back to what you came for, but the comments are good because this is where you get the real gold. Luke, one advice: to get all babes wet, never bring a guitar with you. Use someone else's and surprise girls. 100% will get laid. I don't pay the guitar, but that sounds like very good advice, my friend. If it appears to happen accidental, if girls find out I had elite model girlfriends who are having threesomes with me from some other fashion, that was some marketing copy or sales copy I gave certain girls to get me threesomes. Oh, we just had his ex-girlfriend flew from America and blah, 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 and we did this when we were on holiday. Yeah, that got me some quite easy threesomes. But yeah, if a girl finds out from someone else about some skill or attractive thing you've got, it's far better than if you tell her. There may be a way to tell them subtly that still has some value, but generally it backfires you. Again, thank you so much, Simon Slash. This is what I'm here for. This is, I think all the content's great. This is amazing, amazing tips I'm giving you for free, which is outrageous. Comment from Simon for anyone who didn't get it. Luke, one advice: to get all babes wet, never bring a guitar with you. That can still work, but a much better strategy, thanks to Simon, is use someone else's and surprise girls. 100% will get you laid. So yeah, you're 100% right. My point was, if there's something impressive about you, and you tell a girl yourself, there's a tactful way to do it, but it's still way, way better if she hears it from someone else. Almost anything. So yeah, that's exceptionally good. So what I'm saying is, the girl found out about his guitar playing skills by accident. It was like, oh, I'm taking my guitar on a first date and I'm going to serenade you at sunset and trying to bang you, which is what nearly every guy does. Nobody's perfect. It's DNA in our genetics as men to be attracted and desire young women, to be attracted to women of a certain age. Of course it is. AI or Google the skills, but the peak earning period for a prostitute is 19, because that's what guys want. And then the peak of fertility, I think, is 19 too, if anyone wants to fact check that and get back to me. So yeah, I mean, if you get one thing out of this, and this will take away a lot of guys upset at women, we are apes without much fur, with huge brain capacities. We're just chimpanzees. Just look at chimpanzees. Look at dolphins. We're just exactly like them. Put us in Papua New Guinea and savage communities. We're doing exactly the same shit dolphins and monkeys do. We team up with a bunch of guys, and we go conquer other guys, we kill them, we murder their kids, and we take their women. That's what humans do. That's where we come from. I'm not saying we should do that in 2025 in America, but yeah. So yeah, we're just animals. We're just very intelligent animals who are completely hopeless in the wild. Look at our best cage fighters versus any animal. I mean, a chimpanzee would, I don't know, kill 3 humans in one go if it wanted to. Anyway, I'll get back to any good questions I've missed out, I will get back to you. But thank you, Simon Slash. Is that named after a guitarist? Okie dokie. Okay. Where are we? Okay, next point is how we help guys. So next point is more self-confidence, emotional maturity. Now, everything I say tonight is a generalization. I know guys in their 50s, I know very successful guys in their 50s who are psychological, emotional wrecks. Like, they got no self-confidence whatsoever, and they need, a house in Point Piper to to show that to the world. And when you meet some of their friends who are extremely successful, it's the same. I might have been the same if I kept along my finance path, because a lot of these super successful guys, they've worked so hard and focused so much on one thing. They're not really balanced individuals outside of their success. I mean, yeah, if you talk about the great people in history, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, Shakespeare, what's his name? Van Gogh, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, to some extent, people are accusing him of being a psychopath. I could probably, I mean, most of the great writers in history, yeah, I mean, they're not necessarily psychologically balanced people. I mean, many would say that about Donald Trump, and there's good arguments there. Many would say that about Elon Musk. There's good arguments there too. Sorry, someone needs to get a haircut, but they want to make a video on how to reverse your grey hair at 54. But which I've done, which I'll hope to make a video about. So yeah, so why are younger women attracted to us? What are these older guy traits? I should get back to the core thing. What are these older guy traits that young women find attractive? More self-confidence, emotional maturity. I'll speak for myself. I'm hopefully speaking for most of you. Okay, just answer this, please. I'm not asking questions. We didn't do our polls either. Who here was more insecure in their 20s than whatever age they are now? Just go yes or no. Is there anyone who is more secure in themselves in their 20s? There sometimes is, because there's some alpha male. That's very, very important. Wonderful tech guy, can you start running through some of my polls, please? That would be really good. I'll just do one more point, then we'll get to the polls. Again, older guys, they tend to have achieved something and have some self-worth, even if they're just still hopeless with women. The only thing I had any self-worth in as a kid, probably smarter than most people at my bogan high school, which is not exactly it was like I was smarter at Harvard or something. But that didn't get me any help. That just made me more weird. The only thing I had any pride in was the fact I suppose, despite being skinny and hopeless and not that healthy, I was really good at sport. And it wasn't until I actually achieved, and getting degrees didn't really matter that much. It helped. It's nice to get the fucking thing out of the way. But yeah, the only thing that I really had any self-worth apart from sport was when I started to get attractive jobs in my 20s, and then become good. So I said no self-confidence, nothing whatsoever. So yeah, generally by a later stage, I mean, even if they're not well off financially, they may have been good at music, or they may have been good at acting or filmmaking, or I don't even know, travel or something. Again, if you get to 40, you've probably been through some serious struggles. From the time I got my sales job in finance, even to the time I got into finance, to dating the wrong girl and probably staying in the wrong city, and doing an unfortunate medical procedure with the wrong person. But my life was extraordinary for so long. But then at this period where it all went pear-shaped. So having been through these cycles, and the Stoics are the best at the Stoic philosophers, yeah, you've just got this stuff that young guys don't have. They run into one sticking point, or one mountain, or one little tiny hill, or one anthill, and they think it's the end of the world. Whereas, I mean, this is good content I'm giving you. Yeah, we tend to be a lot more calm and relaxed, not all of us, and they're not trying to prove themselves every single moment of their life, which I think is huge. Okay, I was currently insecure up to 27, and yeah, for me to sort of, if a girl was looking at me, if a girl find out something about my career, financial situation, and basically tried to pick me up, or was looking at me or flirting or even rubbing her boobs against me, I was terrified of approaching her. If you left me alone in a bar, if my friends left me alone, I'd sit and abuse them. How could you do that to me? That was the worst thing ever. You left me for 3 minutes when you went to go to the toilet or talk to that girl. I was an absolute prick because I was so insecure in myself. And obviously, I was missing some key social skills. And fast forward, I've had several girlfriends say on stages that I was the most confident man, and they'd never met a guy as certain of themselves ever. And some of these girls had some really impressive fathers and came from really impressive backgrounds. Yeah, travel, literature, meditation, and a bunch of hardship can really, really do a lot for the guys. I might just stop for the questions. Yes, everyone's saying very, very secure now. Where are we? Craig, they have lost the psychological foundation, very important. Crocodile Dundee was successful getting a young woman. They're divorced now. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that happens. Yeah, I mean, the guy's not that famous anymore. I mean, you know, Paul Hogan, depending how many Winnie Reds he smoked, he used to promote them for guys as old as me. As a brand of cigarettes. Yeah, I mean, he's probably a really desirable guy in his 50s or 40s, but yeah, they get old and decrepit and they start getting some bad surgery procedures like many celebrities. And it's like, I'm not so attracted to you anymore. Plus, I can get all your money. Or you don't have any money now. Okay. Simon, to be honest, I never did bang girls as hot as you, coach. I wish to change that in the future. I'm 33, so still some time. Great. One of the best things I can say. And one of the things I get endless compliments about. Obviously, now you get to spend a lot of time on Zoom with Tess, Natalia, you know, Kota, Val. All these girls are models. All of them have degrees. There's a clinical psychologist. Tess has got 2 degrees. I think Natalia's got 2. Val's got 1. Val's traveled more than most girls I met. Russian girl who teach you a lot about women's. Jackie's very good too, but she doesn't do the coaching anymore. Whatever. One of the big benefits so many of my clients say about doing the actual boot camp is they spent whatever is 45 hours just hanging out with Tess, Natalia, and Jackie and Val and all that. And in some cases, sort of become friends or stuff like that. They build a real connection. One of the struggles of my business is trying to stop the girls sleeping with certain clients, which I'd just lose my best female coaches if guys started gossiping or sharing photos of, you know, such and such spread eagle tied to bed or something. So yeah, one of the things so I'm getting carried away. One of the things that so many guys really value is like you get to know a really beautiful girl. You get to see they're human. You get to understand they wake up and have a shit in the morning, just like you and I. And they have insecurities, and it's just so that's and also just starting off. When we coach them, they're just completely hopeless. No woman, unless they had money, would ever be attracted to them. And then through a process of the steps we go through, touch, eye contact, body language, conversation style, social intelligence, all this stuff, taking out and doing it in the real world. Through this process, they suddenly find on the Sunday, this female coach who thought the guy was a complete fuckwit loser on Friday, they're suddenly attracted to them on the Sunday. And this has happened 100 times, maybe 200, I don't know, like a lot. I do coach some pretty desirable guys, but also some guys who were sort of nothing had this similar experience too. I mean, nothing financially, nothing career-wise, nothing that great to look at. So yeah, that's it. Again, I should mention it now. If you could just put apply for a link in the chat. Now I've said that. Anyway, so bonus number 6. This is the best one. Thanks for you guys who hung around. This is going to be insane value, I think. The modern generation of men are completely and utterly destroyed. They're completely fucked. They're completely useless. It's hopeless. It's game over. It's completely game over. Okay, who can guess what I'm talking about here? The comments will take too long to go through. I'll look like an idiot. Yeah, they didn't grow up discovering sex with internet porn, which, as I've said before, is the most toxic thing on God's earth. It makes commercial cigarettes look like, I don't know, any drug I've tried. It's I haven't done heroin or some of the really bad ones, but it's just it's the worst thing ever. The stuff that is filmed, I mean, it just destroys guys. It absolutely, you've got to get off that shit. It's just so bad for you. So I do a female panel on my advanced boot camp, and I get 4 or 6 models up there. Many of them late 20s, early 30s now, which is really interesting. And guys just ask whatever they want. The girls are really open. I pay them a bunch of money if they are voted as the most useful. And yes, so many of these girls, when they're like 23, 24, 25, all the sort of high value young guys they were sleeping with, they couldn't get the fucking thing up. There's a few reasons for that. I'll go into it. This is the best thing ever. This is the best news ever for the guys. Everything else I've told you tonight, this probably beats everything. The modern generation of men in the West is completely fucked. They're completely fucked. In terms of being attractive to women, if they've got abs or they make a bunch of money, they might be superficially attractive to women, but they very few of them have what some of us older guys might have had from a life that was a bit more reasonable, where we're out in nature doing stupid shit, playing sport, getting hit, your mum would let you run around the suburb freely and you wouldn't be accused of encouraging pedophiles. All these things that the modern generation has been absolutely screwed. So anyway, there's multiple reports of a woman who wasn't that promiscuous as a swimsuit model, not promiscuous at all, starting to date guys who couldn't get their fucking dick up in their early 20s or mid 20s or early 30s with a swimsuit model. How does this shit happen? How does this shit happen? I mean, he might be nervous initially. That certainly happens. That's happened to me many times. I teach you how to get over that. How can some 25-year-old guy be having sex with a swimsuit model who really likes him and the guy can't get it up? I don't mean the first time where he's nervous or even the third time. I mean, never. A few reasons for that. One of them is they've just been completely fucking destroyed by porn. At 49, I jerked off for the first time in my life to what was on the internet. I didn't even realize it was there. I was shocked the first time I looked at an ex-girlfriend showed me. We're trying to get some multiple girl ideas, so we looked at porn, but I was just shocked. And a client who I was quite liked, he got addicted to it. So I tried. It wouldn't have been 20 times. It might have even been 15. I was just appalled at the shit that was on there. And what I'm hearing, what I'm guessing, I haven't really researched this, it's just my own opinions. The shit that guys are seeing on porn, they're so desensitized to a beautiful woman who's attracted to them. It's like, can we invade your home and beat the crap out of you and whatever they do, where they grab their hair and whatever that horrible thing's called. Can we beat you up a bit? Can we cut you? Can you take me? This is the shit that all guys, but especially young guys, grown up to. I'm very, 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 very privileged. Very privileged man, incredibly privileged man, like being born rich. My masturbation came sticking magazines together. And I've done that a few times, which is a dramatically, infinitely 100 times better life than jerking off to the crap that's on the internet. Now, I'll go on about this because it's such a big deal. If you can give this shit up, I think it'll change your life. What I saw on the internet was, okay, you want to date younger women? You want to date any women? Give up porn as quickly as you can. It was so hard to find a girl I was sexually attracted to. Now, I'm a bit of a snob, but whenever I did, it was the most produced, fake, some guy and some model who couldn't make it as a model. She was too difficult to work as a model, so she's gone into porn. And it was just terrible. It was just absolutely awful. It was not the least bit sexy at all because it was just pretend. It's like, and then if I found anything that was actually somewhat appealing to me, as in arousing to me, after hours searching with a plastic dick in my hand, sorry about all this information, but it's really valuable content if you want to date younger women. It's like, an hour of searching for something and I find something, but oftentimes the girl wasn't really attractive enough for what I want. And oftentimes it was actually quite offensive because the girl who was in a very brutal or aggressive situation, she was actually turned on by it. Anyway, I won't get into Darwin and all this sort of stuff and percentage of times being raped, having orgasms versus percentage of time having sex with a regular partner. Or like some guy you fuck once a month who's a new partner, he's far more likely to impregnate you than some guy you fuck 8 times a month. Anyway, I'm doing it. But yeah, women's brains are wired for some pretty crazy shit. So yeah, the girls were really turned on by this stuff that sometimes I was turned on, but other times I just found it quite horrible. But it was the only thing that was remotely arousing to me. This is off the top of my head completely. But the problem you guys have, not you, all of you, the problem the young guys have and the problem many of you have is you think that shit's real. your brain has just been destroyed, like the worst drugs. It's the worst fucking thing you can ever do. I smoked for nearly 19 years, and it caused me so many problems. And yeah, I've drunk like absurd amounts of alcohol, binge drinking. I grew up in Perth, mate. Sport, footy, cricket, surfing. But yeah, I don't think there's anything as toxic to your health, to your psychology, to your dating life, to the ability to date younger women as porn. Anyway, I've talked about porn enough, but I'm just going to hammer that home. Worse than any drug. If anyone is sick of me talking about porn and how bad it is for you, just give me the feedback. The other thing is, I should watch how many people I'm losing or gaining. We didn't grow up with horrendous food and mass vaccination. I have to be careful what I say. And Lord knows what mental health problems that all this stuff's caused. Again, someone can Google it. The testosterone level is just plummeting since the 50s and plummeting since the 1900s. And the current generation of men who are not only bamboozled with chemicals in the air, chemicals in their food, spraying this crap under their arm from Rexona that's just so toxic. They've just got no testosterone. Their dicks are, the dicks are shrinking. Their dicks are literally shrinking because of the horrendous things those humans are doing to the planet. And this is affecting their sexual potency. So it's just this absolute field day for older guys who haven't gone through this stuff as much, or some of us, like me, haven't really gone through this at all. Part of the reason I've got a full head of grey hair, of nearly all, there might be a tiny bit underneath. There's a lot more before I did this few things. It's just because I've avoided that stuff as much as I can. So yeah, just the horrendous environment we live in today, particularly in the cities. Okay, this might even be the biggest. I don't even know which one's the biggest. They didn't grow up stuck with their faces in Instagram or TikTok or whatever the hell they are on now. It's so toxic. And those shorts, I'm going to start making shorts soon, Mr. Hypocrite, because it's a way to get discovered by new people and bring them to my lives and my content. Those shorts, they're not as bad as porn. They're nowhere near as bad as porn, but they're like cancer. It's like as soon as they discover, whatever it is for you, when YouTube or Facebook or someone find out the stuff that attracts me, I'm like, I'm stuffed. I gotta get some tech person to find some way to block this shit. This is so bad, because they know exactly what you want. They give you these addictive videos. Just quickly, I guess share a business case study. Mark Zuckerberg, he came up with shorts. It wasn't TikTok. His people. And he actually did some studies, and he said, this is going to be one of the most damaging things for humanity and society I could ever imagine. So Mark Zuckerberg made the moral judgment, we're not going to go down that path. That's too damaging. That cost his shareholders, who want to maximize shareholder value, they don't give a flying fuck about society. That cost his, he'd probably be bigger than whatever, the chip maker, and bigger than Apple and bigger than Microsoft if he hadn't gone down that path, because he'd have probably done a much better job than the Chinese of it with his advantage. So yeah, it's those shorts aren't porn level toxic, but they're really fucking toxic. Yeah, the chemical poisoning, not to mention stuff that goes straight into your body that doesn't go through liver, kidneys, etc. It's destroying your testosterone. It's destroying everything. It's destroying your fertility, I believe. Conspiracy theory. Okay. They all might be the biggest. This stuff's so potent. This is some of the best content I've ever put out for older guys. You're not made chronically insecure, hating, loathing anything that's remotely masculine by the woke mob and this absolute insane Nazi feminism that it's been created by people with commercial interests to control you very easily, and they've done a fantastic job. It's just like this shit. I've met some really impressive guys in their sort of early 20s or teens. I'm just like, the shit that comes out their mouth. Some of you guys know, they have to, some 6-year-old guys to confront a 6-year-old girl in primary school or kindergarten and apologize from what every penis owner in history has done to his gender, or you need to go see some person who's got, a slight bit of color or funny features that aren't purely European, and you need to apologize for the horrendous things we've done to them. Now, we have, no doubt about that. I've seen more of it than most because I've traveled to 100 countries and lived with third world people and had close friendships in countries that have been massively repressed and destroyed and fucked up by Western governments. I agree with all that stuff. But what fucking fault is a 6-year-old? Well, what's that to do with a 6-year-old having to like blaming every German you see for the Nazis, or blaming every American for George Bush or Donald Trump, if that's your take. Anyway, a bit on my mob there. So yeah, the point with younger women is that the modern generation of men is completely and utterly fucked by this. They're completely and utterly rooted, hopeless, gone. I don't know how many of them will survive. If they're tall, handsome, rich, they've got a Ferrari and nice abs, possibly from steroids, which is going to fuck them up long term. They might get a few girls for a while, but the girls will just lackey band back to some guy who didn't have to grow up through all this. If anyone think this is good, if you could just give me some love in the comments, because I just think this is some of the best content I've ever come up with. But I don't know. I could be kidding myself. Again, I'm not just getting vicious on feminism. I'm going to be careful what I say here. The whole red pill thing, which I was talking about long before anyone came to red pill. Anyone who went to my student conference or advanced boot camp in 2011, I was going through all this in detail whilst having women in the room with me articulating the female point of view, which I learned a lot from. This sort of red pill movement. Now, some of it's actually quite useful for society, but a lot of the bigger creators I've seen, I don't think they have the experience with women to actually understand. I don't think I understand anything about the woman. They understand little about the woman's point of view. They can't see how, women will get some desirable man. They'll try to rip his confidence down. They'll constantly be poking away at him, trying to destroy him for the simple motivation that she wants to destroy his confidence or even destroy his money. This has happened to me in a big scale. I tell you, if you become a client, because she doesn't want him to be too rich or too successful, because that's going to make him even more desirable. And there's a great line where, if you had a world's fastest racehorse, would you want them unbridled running at full speed? No, you'd want to weigh them down. So yeah, this happens to so many successful guys, and they turn around and go, women are absolute toxic bitches. They're so horrible. Why would you want to do that? That's not fair. That's not fair. But then the same guy in the next breath might bang his 18-year-old redneck bogan secretary who just got a new boob job, who keeps flirting at him because he's got a BMW. So yeah, you've got to understand that women are very evil and men are very evil too. It's not just a one-way street. And again, the hormones that are running through a woman's body, I mean, we can't even fathom it. Again, when you have to buy girlfriends for a period of time, you start to get a magnifying glass on some of these things, or you go through difficulties with great women. Okay, so it's over to the questions. For anyone who, no, I won't do it again. Who's got questions? For anyone who joined, if you guys could just, maybe I'm in the wrong thing. Okay, where are we? Okay, no, I didn't lose. I don't know, people join all the time, possibly Americans opening up. I didn't lose people. So anyway, comments, let's see what's happening in the comments. Martin, anyway, if there's any comments about what I just said, to do with porn, did I go too far on that? Or just help me out here. Was what that rant, that pretty big rant, even by my standards, was that useful to people? If you could let me know, because I'm told there's a bunch of you still on. It's not quite the all-time high tonight, but it's close to it. Magnus, where are you running the upcoming boot camps in Bali? Have not decided yet, but we'll definitely take people on. It's not going to be a boot camp. It's going to be a residential. It's going to be way beyond a boot camp. It's going to be the same as a boot camp, but dramatically better. This is a new game to me. So part of me would want to do several places because I know exactly which ones to take. But yeah, if you do, there should be a link somewhere called Date with Tess or Date with Female Coach. I don't even know what it's called. If you just click a link, if you just click that, then we can give you more information. But yeah, I'm running it at a small scale with just a handful of guys, just so I can, iron out a few, iron out a few problems before, you know, I take 10 or 15 people on it and start flying a whole bunch of girls from Australia and try to train a bunch in Bali. But yeah, I've come up with something that is insane, and just quietly, if this happens outside Australia, and guys kind of like any of the female coaches, which happens a lot, and vice versa, I'm probably not going to be so maniacal about, you can't do that, that'll cost us so many problems. But yeah, so just click that link, and we'll give you more information about that. Any feedback about what I just went through, that would be super valuable. So yeah, I think that's pretty close to it for tonight. Let me just yeah, I'm here for questions. That's the game I'm here for. Just summing up, I'm learning a bit more about this. Soon we'll have slides or a whiteboard to do this even more professionally. What did I promise you tonight? The older guy traits, 5 of them that men love. I gave you 6, and the last one was probably as good as all of them, if this is something you want to go down. The other thing I should have said at the beginning, but I didn't because of a few tech problems. This isn't the lifestyle for everyone. Just like so many of my Asian clients who want to go out and bang a bunch of white girls with big boobs, many of them will end up in relationships, marrying, have kids with an Asian girl. But it's a good thing to get this out of your system so that you can actually maybe spring back, and then you can have a much better relationship with a girl that you actually care about, who might be closer to your own age. Because so many guys will fuck up a great relationship because some young hot girl throws themselves at them when they've got a bit more success, or, you know, just chance. So yeah, it's not for everyone. I mean, some of my clients date girls much closer to their own age, which is not me. But yeah, I see why they do it. Having said that, I've come up with some insane skills, even in Western countries, to get the best young girls. It's been a big focus of my life. So yeah, what did we do tonight? 5, as it turned out, 6 traits young women love. Why date younger women, which I ran through, which I think was very, very important. To the why would you want to do it? I didn't really go into the drawbacks of it as much as I did in the last one. You can do that there, but yeah, it can be weird, it can be awkward, it can be hard to find one, it can be very weird when you meet their family. Yeah, basically young guys suck. There's got nothing to attract a woman with half an IQ and half a degree of self-esteem. I'll give you a bunch of examples about that. One of the biggest things is women who have half a brain, even a quarter of a brain, realize that a super desirable guy at 31 is trying to fuck everything that moves. Most of us. I certainly was, but I didn't have much success till 31. But that super desirable guy at 41 might be thinking, oh shit, well, it'll take me, I have to meet the girl, I have to date her for 2, 3, 4, 5 years before I can think about a family, let alone marriage. And then we're going to have the family, and then, you know, how long do they get to high school, and how, you know, what age will be our grandfather. So the women have figured this out. As I said, men are stupid, women are crazy. And then there's the life experience, which is enormous. The wisdom, the culture, the hobbies, the interests, all that sort of thing. The network you have. I mean, not so much you give them money, but you give them advantages in life that can help them make a ton of their own money. This is an example, but I dated I thought it was a really hot girl in Peru, and when I first met her, because I dated a bunch of girls before who didn't have great English, it was good English. But yeah, she wasn't going to get a job where she required English. I dated her for like just 5 weeks or 6 weeks, a couple others as well. And I found out later a couple of things. Her boyfriend thought she'd done some university degree in sex from when she went back to him. And commercially, her income went up 7 times. And it was probably going to go much higher, because she went from basically just being a shit kicker, a receptionist, cleaner, jack of all trades in a small guest house, to putting on, is it llama wool sweaters with her very, very nice Latino chest, and selling llama wool sweaters to tourists. which she got a much higher base and she got a pretty generous commission on. So, and that was just early in her llama wool sweater, big boobs career. So yeah, I should have given you a first world example about that. But yeah, yeah, many of my ex-girlfriends in Western countries have done stuff they definitely wouldn't have done without me. So what was the next thing? Oh, I've screwed up again. Oh, how did I shut that? That's weird. So I managed to shut my notes. Anyway, it'll be back open soon. Good old Apple opened it exactly the place I left off, I think. We've got some relationship experience. The biggest thing of that is we know what good looks like. We're not going to screw up a wonderful girl who might only be an 8.5 or something for some sexy nutcase 10. You've also got some experience to draw upon. And yeah, in most cases, we've got dramatically more self-confidence, emotional maturity in our yeah, 30s, certainly 40s, 50s than we did in our 20s, even though we might not have the abs or some other stuff. Okay, and that's yeah. Hopefully that was super duper valuable. I'm not having the same luck as I did with questions. Some great amount earlier on. So anyway, I'm here for questions for a short time. I'm getting very, very hungry. Pages quit unexpectedly. It wasn't my fault. Any questions before we go? Yeah, so in terms of stuff we've got to help you, Wonderful Tech Guy, can you put those in the chat? You can book a date with our very best female coaches. I think there's spots, I believe there's spots tomorrow. You can get some of the best content we've ever given, and you can get the framework that I give my coaches to coach you guys. And oh, please, I should have said this many times, please subscribe. If you could put that link in, subscribe, ring that bell. It's going to get you, for those who enjoy it, and it seems to be a few, it's going to get you so many more it's going to get you so many more of these lives, and it's going to get you more lives with my female coaches. So yeah, if you're getting value out of this, which many of you seem to, given how long many of you are staying in the average hold times, yeah, if you could just do that, that would mean the world to us. And if you want to transform your life in 45 minutes, book a call. And yeah, the best content I've ever put out in the world and the framework I use to coach people. Well, anyway, I'll take one. Anyway, looks like there's not much questions. So yeah, thanks so much for hanging around again. I don't think it was that similar to last time because it was more the reason why you're attractive. Thank you so much, Magnus. I think that was a new one, unless you're Ben, potentially. Is that Ben? Oh, dude, you're one of my very first clients. So I've got a very, very special place in my heart for you. If that's Ben. There's another model, handsome guy I've coached who had unfortunately pretty serious problems. James, you often talk about the wonderful women you once had as a playboy. Yeah, it will be hard to replace that now. Does that play in your mind? Would you do differently? Yes, it does. It definitely does. Because my first goal is I've completely transformed the lives of thousands of men. I want to do that with tens of millions. Like certain people who called me a mentor who've got much, much bigger reaches than me. Beginning with James, with big nose and skinny like me. And I don't know, I've had feedback about my course versus their course, and yeah, I won't share it on YouTube, but not theirs is bad by any stretch compared to the rest of them, which probably are. Many of the rest of them are. So yeah, my number one goal is to transform 10 million guys. If anyone had any idea the hell I've been through with women, abusive women, yeah, it would blow your freaking mind. It's blown psychologists' mind. So I just want to save other men from that. That's my mission. That's why I'm on Earth. That's why I was put on Earth. I sound a bit of a wanker here, but that's the truth. But yeah, it really plays on me. And one of my greatest, I meditate. One of my greatest wishes is a hybrid of the two greatest women in my life. One's love, one's personality, one's everything else, and the other girl's remarkability, which probably isn't a word. And so yeah, it does play in my mind. I've got like a monster excuse for that, like a monster excuse. I just lived in Bondi Beach, Australia. I've lived in Australia. I mean, the only girl I met in Australia or America who I was, seriously interested in was, from a very, very different, half Asian, half European, and model, and anyway, law degree, com degree. And she was just wonderful. What she wanted to do was meditate, read literature, do yoga, and have a great boyfriend. But yeah, I was just to travel, and I was still talking and occasionally visiting the most remarkable woman of my life. So I never took her seriously. Yeah, I look at pictures of us and I go, man, my God, I haven't been anywhere close to that in a long, long time. But one of the reasons I want to get out of, the cultural desert, as my French Russian girl used to call this place, as some other European girls used to call this place, is I don't know. My mission is probably New York, Austin, somewhere like that, maybe Silicon Valley. Not that's a nice place to live, but yeah, for the family side of it, it's probably somewhere they speak kind of like this, that's run by a gentleman called Putin. And I'm not alone there. I've said before, I'm not interested in this sort of village girls with crazy bodies who come over here chasing somewhat affluent or very affluent men. Be careful. I've never really met the level of Russian girl here I want. They may exist. I've met some Eastern Europeans who are way better than everything else, but I haven't met certainly what I've had before. Okay, that's it. James, have you put a time limit on when you have kids? It's one of the reasons you can't see any grey, and I gotta get a haircut, and I can still, well, at least as of a few years ago, I know those aren't true. I had many, many, many 5-hour threesomes in my 40s. Like, I don't even give you a number, a lot. And I mean, 3-4 hours, I don't even know. Yeah. Probably in the hundreds. But yeah, part of the reason is that I've just been very healthy. But probably the biggest driver of that is, if I start doing the maths of the earliest I can have kids is, say, 57, after putting a girl through her hoops, and then if I want to have 3 or 4 kids, Jesus Christ, it's later on they'll be born when I'm 65. So I've got to be insanely healthy till I'm 85. Otherwise I'll just be this, because you don't want to be some sort of, I'm not saying affluent. If I wanted to be affluent, I'd stay in finance and be properly rich. But yeah, you don't want to be some sort of guy with a bit of money, who's done a lot with his life and got status. You don't want to be with some. I don't think it's a good life to be with some girl massively younger than you, and your kids and your younger wife just think you just fucking joke. They use as a wallet. They laugh at. So I don't want to be that guy. Ideally, I'd like to coach my kids' teams in sport. People might say, "Dude, you're really kidding yourself now." Like, a lot of my friends with kids, they were saying to me, "Do it. By the time you're 40, or don't do it at all. It's hell. You love them, but the shit you have to give up and they put you through." So yeah, great questions, Luke. Yeah, the one thing I have going for me is, the skills aren't the level they are a while ago, but there's a little niche of girls who, when they meet me, they're like, yes, this is what I've been looking for. And they're the girls I want with all my heart and soul, but I just can't find them. And yeah, they don't tend to come from the Western cultures, and they tend to read lots of literature, which is sort of the big. If you look at the top 6, probably the top 15 women of my life, they've all been bookworms. And like the one I crap on about being remarkable, many of them who I think are remarkable, I mean, they're hardcore bookworms. I haven't dated Elon Musk, but yeah, Musk, Zuckerberg, so many of the most remarkable people in the world, they were just devouring. I mean, Zuckerberg was reading, the classics in Latin and shit. And I mean, Elon Musk, the stuff he was reading as a kid, because he was bullied horrendously. If you'd be 57, what's your ideal age of women? I'm not commenting about that on YouTube, because I've got little tricks and skills to get women dramatically younger than me, who are very, very, very dateable. I've done that repeatedly, but I just need to be somewhere they are. And probably after COVID really bashed me around, and there's a few other problems after. Probably need to hire some really capable people who can help my business grow like crazy and serve a bunch of people, transform them, but run a bit smoother. Ralph, do you play an instrument, James? You mentioned a piece. You understand? Oh, you know your stuff, Ralph. No, I don't play an instrument. It's one of the greatest regrets of my life because, I mean, there's virtually nothing I love more than classical music. I mean, jazz is pretty good too. So yeah, I grew up in Bogan, Perth, and playing the recorder was for faggots and shit. I'll probably get banned off YouTube for saying that. Homosexual gentleman. Yeah, it was a very misogynistic, racist place when I grew up, at least where I was in the suburbs. No, I don't. But yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody is one of the great songs of all time. Martin saying long hair looks great. It's very, very impractical. Okay, I'll leave you with a perler before I go. God, I'm giving you guys good stuff. I should stop doing this. I want these to grow. Yeah, just ways to start talking to a girl. This is a ripper. You guys who stayed around the end are getting rewarded richly. If you see a girl with really, really thick hair, how long does it take you to wash that stuff? I'm sure some of my competitors will be copying the stuff I do, like has happened many times. But yeah, it's just this guy's dated enough hot girls to understand that many of us have thick hair, particularly the models. There's a lot of Victoria's Secret models who I don't think are that attractive, but they've got, I mean, obviously compared to average, but they've got really thick hair because that's what looks good. Like guys going about boobs and long legs and pretty eyes and that, but we're so attracted to thick hair. Anyway, partially some of my success with models, given this fucking hooter of a nose and not the greatest body, is the fact that I've got very, very thick hair, and they might think subconsciously, oh God, this guy's hair, our daughters are going to be models, whatever, are going to be much more attractive. This guy's got such thick hair. Not that you bald guys can't do anything, but it's just an advantage I have that many guys don't. I've got hair in places in my body I definitely shouldn't, plus sunken chest and a whole bunch of other stuff. No, I don't play an instrument. Anyway, I think we're signing off from now. Top 5 older guy qualities women chase in a man. I really think this was super duper valuable. Actually, could you ask for food for me, please? My usual food. That would be really helpful because I'm starving. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now. And yeah, thanks for all the support. Yeah, as I said, I'll keep begging for this. Like, subscribe, ring that bell. That's going to make such a difference to us. It's going to make such a difference to the value we give you. We'll do more of these. I'll have more female coaches. I'll interview my clients. I'll interview some clinical psychologist clients. I've got this all planned out, but to do it, even if I get like 30 or 40 people or something staying the whole time and a bunch viewing, it's just not something I'm going to do. Anyway, thank you so much for that. Yeah, that's really useful. Yeah, you're helping yourself by helping us in a big way. Yeah, I've been doing this a long time. So yeah, hopefully I'll get a whole string of people doing it. Thank you so much, Tech Guy, for that awesome thing. Anyway, signing off, guys. It was a bit smoother tonight, but yeah, the storm in the Philippines made it nowhere near as good as I'd planned. But we'll repeat this on US time zones at some point, I think. See you later, guys. Thanks for the good watch time. You seem to be up there in terms of guys hanging around, so really appreciate that. See you later.